Hey guys, Vital Syntax here. Just a quick chat about Titanfall. It's been out for about a week now on the Xbox One and PC. I made a video during the beta, but I haven't made one yet for the full release just because I've been playing the game. It's hard to pull myself away from playing it to make a video on it when you're having that much fun playing it with friends and playing it solo. It's a really enjoyable game. And really what I want to do in this video is compare it to other games for people that haven't purchased it yet, to give them a sense of what the game is like and how it plays and how it feels, and also give you guys my opinions on the game, what things I like about it, what things I don't. So the comparison that I've kind of formulated about Titanfall is that it's a mix of Crisis in the sense of how fast you move, some of the vaulting mechanics. You have wall running in this game, but in Crisis you had like super jumping, super speed, a couple other things. So the pace of the game is very similar to Crisis. The time to kill is also fairly similar to Crisis, although in Crisis you have the armor or the shield that you can throw on, the nano shield, whereas in this game you don't have any type of upgrade like that. So the time to kill is fairly similar to Crisis if you didn't have the shield in Crisis or the armor in Crisis. The gun mechanics and the feel of the weapons, the way they reload, the recoil, is very similar to Call of Duty, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's one thing that Call of Duty's always kind of had down pretty well, is the feel of the guns make you just feel like a badass. Battlefield does that great too. Battlefield puts a more realistic twist on it, whereas this game has very low recoil, very high accuracy, and some of the guns are very futuristic, obviously, with the setting of the game. And it's also a mix of something like Mirror's Edge, that adrenaline rush that you get of running around the place, using parkour to navigate a map, is something that you don't really get in other games. The only other comparison that really fits that type of that feeling is Tribes Ascend. I didn't play the original Tribes, but Tribes Ascend is a game I played quite a bit when it was kind of during its beta and once they fully released it on Steam, and that was an awesome game, very enjoyable, especially something like Capture the Flag with some buddies in TeamSpeak. And I get that same adrenaline rush, that feeling that you don't really get in other games, and I don't know if you guys can really relate to that, but I think I've gotten it a couple times with Call of Duty and Battlefield as well, but in some of the games like Crisis and Tribes and in Titanfall as well, where you have a really high velocity movement mechanic, where your character can sprint really fast, he can jump really high, he can wall run, he can ski, like in Tribes. You have to make decisions really fast, and those decisions affect how long you're going to live, how well your team's going to do. If you're going to kill the enemies, if you're going to capture the flags, if you're going to capture different objectives. There's a lot of decisions that you have to make, not only during gunfights, but also just navigating the map, and that's something that I really enjoyed about this game. It's something I enjoyed about Crisis, and it's something I enjoyed about Tribes, and unless you've kind of played one of those games that kind of offer that, then it's hard to explain, because it's kind of a unique feeling. Now onto the mechs. I was a huge fan of Hawken. I played it a lot during the alpha and the beta. I made a couple of videos on YouTube. Once it went to the Steam version, I haven't played it since. I kind of do want to go back and touch it and mess around with it, but I really enjoyed the mech mechanics in Hawken, and I feel like some of those translate over and are fairly similar to what we see in Titanfall. Now, I feel like the Titan mechanics and the gameplay in a Titan is very team focused, so if you're playing with a couple of friends in TeamSpeak or on Xbox Live, you're going to have a huge advantage over other Titans that are playing solo, because there's a lot of teamwork and a lot of skill that goes into using a Titan as a squad. You want to be able to retreat when you're low on shields or when you're low on health. You want to be able to have multiple people shooting at one Titan instead of, kind of outnumber people 2v1 or 3v1. That'll give you a huge advantage. Obviously with something like a Titan where there's a huge amount of health, I think they have a lot of health. It takes a long time to kill them, even if you're shooting at them with a rocket launcher or a missile launcher or C4 or whatever. So with that really high time to kill, there's a lot of strategy that goes beyond just how good are you at aiming. It's how good are you at dodging incoming fire, how good are you at navigating a map, how good are you at flanking the enemy, how good are you at getting out of a sticky situation that you're going to lose a gunfight, because in Call of Duty, if you get in a gunfight, or even in Battlefield if you get in a gunfight, you don't really have the ability to run away and live to fight another day. Whereas in this game, and a lot of other games that have high times to kill, or in Hawken where you're in a mech and you have a high amount of health, if you get in a gunfight and you're going to lose, maybe you can try and flee from that battle. You can throw up smoke, so that if the enemy tries to follow you through that smoke, he's going to take damage. Or maybe you can throw up a particle shield so you can prevent incoming damage, and you can try and flee. Or maybe you can run towards some of your teammates that are behind you, and they'll give you cover. They'll take some of that damage, and maybe make the enemy turn around and not start chasing you. So there's a lot of tactics that go into team play with the Titans. I think the pilot gameplay is less of a team-oriented role, unless you're talking about an objective-based game mode like capture the flag or hard point domination, where you're trying to capture different points on the map. But if you're playing attrition, just a team deathmatch variant, it's very lone wolf kind of solo, and I like that because it gives you a mix of team play with the mechs and solo play with the Titans, or sorry, with the pilots. And then if you want all on team play with something like capture the flag, playing that with a group of friends is extremely enjoyable, and that's probably been one of my favorite experiences, is playing with a group of like 4 or 5 other people in TeamSpeak, playing capture the flag and just destroying enemy teams over and over and over. It's just very gratifying. It's very satisfying because there's a lot of teamwork and a lot of skill that goes into playing some of those game modes. So overall, my opinions of this game are extremely positive. I think the campaign is kind of a gimmicky thing. It's basically just playing the multiplayer maps with some storyline and some narrative in the background. Was not interesting to me at all, but I don't really care. I didn't really buy this game for a single player experience, and I didn't do that either when I bought Battlefield or Call of Duty or Tribes, or basically any first-person shooter that has a focus on multiplayer. I don't care about that single-player campaign that you're going to bring to the table, because most of the time it's going to suck anyway. And I wish more developers that are focusing on multiplayer games would just kind of ditch the single-player. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but I wouldn't mind if something like Battlefield 5 or whatever the next Battlefield game didn't have a single player, and they focused that much more time and that much more effort and development into the multiplayer to make it that much better, because that's where you spend 99% of your time. But overall, Titanfall is, to me, one of the best first-person shooters that we've seen in the past decade. It's definitely a must-have. I wish it was on the PlayStation 4. I don't recommend buying it on the Xbox 360, which is not even out yet. I would strongly recommend playing this on a PC. It's a very Twitch focused shooter, and I think those are best experienced on a keyboard and mouse, although the Xbox One isn't that bad of an option either. There are some technical difficulties on the PC side of things like lack of anti-cheat, things like VSync is very difficult to turn off. You have to kind of force it off in the control panel, and even when it's off, it can screw with mouse acceleration, it can screw with tearing, it can have issues of frame drops, and overall the game isn't perfectly optimized. There's some things that they removed from the source engine, like being able to record demos, being able to fine-tune your sensitivity, being able to spectate. So there's some things that I wish they would have left in there from the source engine instead of stripping them out. But overall, I mean, this game it's awesome. Would highly recommend. You should definitely go pick it up if it's an option. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Team, but it's a close fight. There's plenty of time left in this mission. Don't give the IMC any ground.
Damage core offline.
Rock and rolling. Rock and rolling.
Damage core
You're
online.
unstoppable.
Damage
don't stand a chance. Won't be long before we finish this fight. Alright, we got what we came for. Awesome work, team. Mission accomplished.
Beat the IMC, but the battle's not over. Intercept any stragglers before they get away. The IMC will be heading towards the evac point. Don't let them escape.